The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. Translated using artificial intelligence into a modern text. Chapter 4. The taxi climbed the hill past the lit-up square and into darkness, still rising, then flattened out behind Saint-Étienne-du-Mont. It rolled smoothly down the asphalt, slipped past the trees and the bus waiting at Place de la Contrescarpe, then rattled onto the cobblestones of Rue Mouffetard. Bars were still bright. Shops were still open late. We sat apart at first. Then the old street jolted us close. Brett had taken off her hat. Her head tipped back. In the shop lights I caught her face, then lost it, then saw it again clearly when we reached Avenue des Gobelins. The road was torn up, and men worked on the tram tracks under acetylene flares. In that hard white light, Brett's face looked pale, and the long line of her neck showed cleanly. Then we were back in the dark, and I kissed her. Our mouths were pressed tight. Then she turned away and pushed herself into the far corner of the seat, as far from me as she could get. Her head dropped. "Don't touch me," she said. "Please don't touch me." "What's wrong?" "I can't stand it." "Oh, Brett, you mustn't. You have to know. I can't stand it, that's all. Oh, darling, please understand." "Don't you love me?" "Love you? I turn to jelly the second you touch me." "Isn't there anything we can do?" She sat up. My arm was around her. She leaned back against me. We were calm now. Too calm. She looked into my eyes the way she did, like she kept looking long after anyone else would have stopped, like there was nothing she wouldn't stare straight at, even though she was afraid of half the world. "And there's not a damn thing we can do," I said. "I don't know," she said. "I don't want to go through that hell again." "We should stay away from each other." "But I have to see you. It isn't only that, you know." "No, but it always turns into it." "That's my fault. Don't we pay for what we do?" She kept looking at me. Her eyes had different depths. Sometimes they looked flat as glass. Now you could see straight down into them. "When I think of the hell I've put men through, I'm paying for it now." "Don't talk like an idiot," I said. "Besides, what happened to me is supposed to be a joke. I don't think about it." "Oh, I bet you don't." "Let's stop." I laughed about it once, too. She wasn't looking at me. A friend of my brother's came back like that from Mons. It seemed like a terrific joke. Men never know anything, do they? "No," I said. "Nobody knows anything." I was done with it. I'd already run the subject through every angle a person can, especially the part where certain injuries become comedy for everyone else and stay deadly serious for the person who carries them. "It's funny," I said. "Very funny. And falling in love is a lot of fun, too." "You really think so?" Her eyes went flat again. "Not fun like that. I mean, it can feel good." "No," she said. "It's hell." "It's good seeing you." "No, I don't think it is." "Don't you want to?" "I have to." We sat like strangers. Parc Montsouris was on the right. The restaurant with the trout pool, the one you can sit in and look out over the park, was closed and dark. The driver leaned around. "Where do you want to go?" I asked. Brett turned away. "Go to the Select." I told the driver, "Café Select, Boulevard Montparnasse. We drove straight down, turning around the Lion de Belfort that stands guard over the Montrouge trams. Brett stared ahead. On Boulevard Raspail, with Montparnasse's lights in sight, she said, "Would you mind terribly if I asked you something? Don't be ridiculous. Kiss me once more before we get there." When we stopped, I paid. Brett climbed out and put her hat back on. She gave me her hand as she stepped down. Her hand shook. "Do I look like a complete mess?" she said, tugging her man's felt hat lower, and headed into the bar. Inside, most of the same crowd from the dance was there, pressed against the bar, scattered at tables. "Hello, you chaps," Brett said. "I'm having a drink." "Brett! Brett!" The little Greek portrait painter, who called himself a duke and who everyone called Zizi, pushed up to her. "I've got something first-rate to tell you." "Hello, Zizi." "I want you to meet a friend." A fat man waddled up. "Count Mippipopolous. Meet my friend, Lady Ashley." "How do you do?" Brett said. "Well then, does your ladyship have a good time in Paris?" asked Count Mippipopolous. He had an elk tooth hanging from his watch chain. "Rather," Brett said. "Paris is a fine town," the Count said, "but I suppose you've got bigger doings in London." "Oh yes," Brett said. "Enormous." Braddock's called to me from a table. "Barnes, have a drink. That girl of yours got into a frightful row." "With who?" "Something the patron's daughter said. A corking row. She was splendid. Flashed her yellow card and demanded the patron's daughter show hers, too. I tell you, a row." "What happened?" "Someone took her home. Not a bad-looking girl. And her French, wonderful. Stay and have one." "No," I said. "I'm off. Seen Cohn?" "He went home with Frances," Mrs. Braddock said. "Poor chap," Braddock said. "He looks awfully low." "I'm sure he is," Mrs. Braddock said. "I've got to go," I said. "Good night." I said good night to Brett at the bar. The Count was buying champagne. "Will you take a glass of wine with us, sir?" he asked. "No, thanks. I have to go." "Really leaving?" Brett asked. "Yes," I said. "I've got a brutal headache." "I'll see you tomorrow?" "Come by the office." "Hardly." "Then where?" "Somewhere around 5. "Make it the other side of town, then." "Fine. I'll be at the Crillon at 5. "Try to be there," I said. "Don't worry," Brett said. "I've never let you down, have I?" "Heard from Mike?" "Letter today." "Good night, sir," the Count said. I walked out and headed toward Boulevard Saint-Michel. I passed the Rotonde, still packed, and looked across at the Dome, with its tables spilling out to the pavement. Someone waved from a table, I didn't see who, and kept going. I wanted to get home. Boulevard Montparnasse was empty now. Levine's was shut tight. They were stacking tables outside the Closerie des Lilas. I passed Ney's statue standing under the arc light among chestnut trees with new leaves. A faded purple wreath leaned against the base. I stopped to read the inscription, something from some Bonapartist group, dated, I forget. Ney looked heroic in his boots, sword raised among the green leaves. My flat was just across the street, a little way down Boulevard Saint-Michel. The concierge's room was lit. I knocked and she handed me my mail. I went upstairs. 2 letters and some papers. Under the gaslight in the dining room, I opened them. One was a bank statement, $2,432.60. I pulled out my checkbook, subtracted 4 checks I'd written since the first of the month, and found I actually had $1,832.60. I wrote it on the back of the statement. The other was a wedding announcement. Mr. and Mrs. Aloysius Kirby announcing the marriage of their daughter Catherine, names I didn't know. They were blanketing the city. Aloysius was a ridiculous name. I felt like I'd remember anyone named Aloysius. It was such a solid Catholic name. The announcement had a crest on it, like ZZ's Duke act, like that Count. The Count was absurd. Brett had a title too, Lady Ashley. To hell with Brett. To hell with you, Lady Ashley. I lit the bedside lamp, shut off the gas, opened the wide windows. The bed sat far back from the opening. I undressed by it with the night air coming in. Outside, a night train ran along the streetcar tracks, hauling vegetables to the markets. It was loud at night when you couldn't sleep. Undressing, I caught myself in the mirror on the big armoire. A very French way to furnish a room. Practical, maybe, of all the ways to get wounded. It was supposed to be funny. I put on pajamas and got into bed. I had 2 bullfight papers. I tore off the wrappers, one orange, one yellow. Same news in both. Whatever I read first would ruin the other. The Toril was better, so I read that. I read it all, even the little correspondence column and the jokes. Then I blew out the lamp. Maybe I'd sleep. My brain started up. The old grievance. A rotten way to be wounded, especially on a joke front like the Italian. In the Italian hospital, we talked about forming a society, and it had some funny Italian name. I wondered what happened to the others. It was Ospedale Maggiore in Milan, Padiglione Ponte. The next building was Padiglione Zonda. There was a statue of Ponte, or maybe Zonda. That's where the liaison colonel visited me. That was one of the first funny things. I was wrapped in bandages. They'd told him about it. Then he gave that great speech. You, a foreigner, an Englishman, any foreigner was an Englishman, have given more than your life. What a speech. I'd like to have it illuminated and hung in the office. He never laughed. He was imagining himself in my place, I suppose. Che mala fortuna, che mala fortuna. I don't think I used to really feel it. I try to play along and not make trouble for people. I probably wouldn't have had trouble if I hadn't run into Brett when they shipped me to England. She only wanted what she couldn't have. People are like that. To hell with people. The Catholic Church had a good method for handling it. Don't think about it. Good advice. Great advice. Try it sometime. Try taking it. I lay awake, mind jumping around. Then I couldn't dodge it anymore, and I started thinking about Brett, and everything else disappeared. I thought about her, and my mind stopped bouncing and started moving in slow waves. Then, suddenly, I started crying. After a while, it eased. I lay there and listened to the heavy trams grinding by, far down the street, and eventually I slept. I woke up to shouting outside. A fight. I listened and thought I recognized a voice. I put on a dressing gown and went to the door. The concierge was down there, furious. I heard my name and called down. "Is that you, Monsieur Barnes?" she shouted. "Yes, it's me." There's a species of woman here who's woken the whole street. What filthy business at this hour? She says she must see you. I told her you were asleep. Then I heard Brett. Half asleep, I'd been sure it was Georgette. No idea why. Brett couldn't have known my address. Send her up, please. Brett came up the stairs. She was very drunk. Such a stupid thing to do, she said, making that row. I say, you weren't asleep, were you? What did you think I was doing? Don't know. What time is it? I looked at the clock. 4:30. Had no idea, Brett said. Can a chap sit down? Don't be cross, darling. I just left the Count. He brought me. What's he like? I asked. I was getting brandy and soda in glasses. Just a little, Brett said. Don't try to get me drunk. The Count? Oh, rather. He's one of us. Is he really a count? Probably. He deserves to be anyway. Knows a hell of a lot about people. God knows where he learned it. Owns a chain of sweet shops in the States. She sipped. Called it a chain, I think. Linked them up. Told me about it. Interesting. But he's one of us. You can always tell. She drank again. How do I keep rambling about this? You don't mind, do you? He's backing Zizi, you know. Is Zizi really a dupe, too? Wouldn't surprise me. Greek, you know. Rotten painter. I rather liked the Count. Where'd you go with him? Oh, everywhere. He just brought me here. Offered me $10,000 to go to Biarritz with him. What's that in pounds? About 2,000. Lot of money. I told him I couldn't. He was very nice about it. Told him I knew too many people in Biarritz. She laughed. I say, you're slow, she said. I'd only sipped my drink. I took a long pull. That's better, she said. Then he wanted Cannes. Told him I knew too many people in Cannes. Monte Carlo, same. Too many people everywhere. True, too. So I asked him to bring me here. She looked at me, hand on the table, glass raised. Don't look like that, she said. I told him I was in love with you. True, too. Don't look like that. He was damned nice. Wants to drive us to dinner tomorrow night. Want to go? Sure. I should go now. Why? Just wanted to see you. Stupid idea. Want to get dressed and come down? He's got the car up the street. The Count? Himself, chauffeur in livery. We're going to drive around and have breakfast in the Bois. Hampers, all from Zelli's. Dozen bottles of Mums. Tempt you? I have work in the morning, I said. I'm too far behind you to catch up and be any fun. Don't be an ass. Can't. All right. Want me to send him a sweet message? Anything, absolutely. Good night, darling. Don't get sentimental. You make me ill. We kissed good night, and Brett shivered. I'd better go, she said. Good night, darling. You don't have to. Yes. We kissed again on the stairs. When I rang for the cord, the concierge muttered behind her door. I went back upstairs and watched from the open window as Brett walked up the street to the big limousine waiting under the arc light. She got in. It pulled away. I turned back into the room. On the table sat one empty glass and another half full. I carried them to the kitchen and poured the half-full one down the sink. I shut off the gas, kicked off my slippers, got into bed. This was Brett, the Brett I'd been crying over. Then I pictured her again, walking up the street and stepping into that car, the way I just watched her do it. And of course, after a minute, I felt like hell all over again. It's easy to act tough in the daylight. At night, it's a different sport. Chapter 5. In the morning, I walked down the boulevard to Rue Soufflot for coffee and a pastry. It was a beautiful morning. The chestnut trees in the Luxembourg Gardens were in full bloom. You could already feel that early morning vibe of a day that was going to be a scorcher. I read the news over coffee and then had a cigarette. The flower girls were coming up from the market, setting up their stalls for the day. Students headed past, some up to the law school, others down toward the Sorbonne. The boulevard was humming with buses and people heading to work. I hopped on the back platform of a bus and rode down to the Madeleine. From there, I walked along the Boulevard des Capucines toward the Opéra and up to my office. I passed the guy selling jumping frogs and the one with the toy boxers. I stepped aside so I wouldn't trip over the string the guy's assistant used to move the puppets. She was standing there, looking off into space, the string looped through her folded hands. The guy was busy pitching to 2 tourists. 3 others had stopped to watch. I walked on, following a man pushing a roller that printed Cinzano on the sidewalk in damp letters. Everywhere I looked, people were headed to work. It felt good to be one of them. I crossed the street and went into my office building. Upstairs, I read the French morning papers, smoked, and knocked out a solid morning of work at my laptop. At 11, I took a taxi over to the Foreign Ministry. I sat with about a dozen other reporters while the official spokesperson, a young, intellectual-looking diplomat in thick-rimmed glasses, talked and took questions for half an hour. The Prime Minister was in Lyon giving a speech, or actually, he was on his way back. A few people asked questions just to hear themselves talk, and a couple of agency guys asked things because they actually needed the answers. There was no real news. I shared a cab back from the ministry with Woolsey and Crumb. "What do you do with your nights, Jake?" Crumb asked. "I never see you out." "Oh, I'm usually over in the Latin Quarter." "I need to come over some night. The Dingo, that's the place to be, right?" "Yeah, that or this new spot, the Select." "I've been meaning to get out," Crumb said. "You know how it is, though, with a wife and kids." "Playing any tennis?" Woolsey asked. "Not really," Crumb said. "I haven't played at all this year. I've tried to get away, but it always rains on Sundays, and the courts are so damn crowded." "The British all have Saturdays off," Woolsey noted. "Lucky bastards," Crumb said. "I'm telling you, one of these days I'm going to stop grinding for an agency. Then I'll have all the time in the world to get out of the city." "That's the dream. Live in the country and have a little car." "I've actually been thinking about getting a car next year." I tapped on the glass and the driver pulled over. "This is my stop," I said. "Come in for a drink." "Thanks anyway, man," Crumb said. Woolsey shook his head. "I've got to go file that quote from this morning." I handed Crumb some change for my share of the cab. "You're crazy, Jake," he said. "I've got this." "The office is paying for it anyway." "No, I want to get it." I waved goodbye. Crumb leaned his head out the window. "See you at the lunch on Wednesday." "You bet." I took the elevator up to the office. Robert Cohn was waiting for me. "Hey, Jake," he said. "Heading out for lunch?" "Yeah. Let me just check if anything new came in." "Where should we go?" "Anywhere." I was scanning my desk. "Where do you want to eat?" "How about Wetzel's? They have good appetizers." At the restaurant, we ordered appetizers and beer. The server brought the beers, tall, cold mugs with condensation on the glass. There were about a dozen different small plates for the appetizers. "Have a good time last night?" I asked. "No, not really." "How's the writing?" "Terrible. I can't get this second book moving." "That happens to everyone." "I'm sure it does. It still stresses me out, though." "You still thinking about going to South America?" "I'm serious about it." "Then why don't you just go?" "Frances." "Well," I said, "take her with you." "She wouldn't like it. That's not her scene. She needs to be around people." "Tell her to beat it." "I can't. I have certain obligations to her." He pushed the sliced cucumbers aside and grabbed a pickled herring. "What's the deal with Lady Brett Ashley, Jake?" "Her name is Lady Ashley. Brett is her first name. She's a great girl," I said. "She's getting a divorce and she's going to marry Mike Campbell. He's in Scotland right now. Why?" "She's a remarkably attractive woman, isn't she? She has this quality, a certain class. She seems completely genuine and straightforward. She's very nice." "I don't know how to describe it," Cohn said. "I guess it's her upbringing." "You sound like you've got a crush on her." "I do. I wouldn't be surprised if I were in love with her." "She's a drunk," I said. "She's in love with Mike Campbell, and she's marrying him. He's going to be filthy rich someday." "I don't believe she'll ever marry him." "Why not?" "I don't know. I just don't believe it." "Have you known her a long time?" "Yeah," I said. "She was a volunteer nurse in the hospital I was in during the war." "She must have been just a kid then." "She's 34 now." "When did she marry Ashley?" "During the war. Her true love had just died of dysentery." "You sound bitter." "Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm just giving you the facts." "I don't believe she'd marry anyone she didn't love." "Well," I said, "she's already done it twice." "I don't believe it." "Look," I said, "don't ask me a bunch of stupid questions if you don't want to hear the answers." "I didn't ask you that." "You asked me what I knew about Brett Ashley." "I didn't ask you to insult her." "Oh, go to hell." He stood up, his face turning white. He stayed there, pale and angry, standing over the little plates of appetizers. "Sit down," I said. "Don't be an idiot." "Take that back." "Oh, stop with the high school drama." "Take it back." "Sure, whatever. I've never even heard of Brett Ashley. How's that?" "No, not that. About me going to hell." "Fine, don't go to hell," I said. "Stay here. We're just starting lunch." Cohn smiled again and sat down. He seemed relieved to sit. What the hell would he have done if he hadn't? "You say such insulting things, Jake." "I'm sorry. I have a sharp tongue. I don't really mean it when I'm being a jerk." "I know," Cohn said. "You're actually probably my best friend, Jake." God help you, I thought. "Forget what I said out loud. I'm sorry." "It's okay. We're good. I was just pissed for a second." "Good. Let's order something else to eat." After we finished lunch, we walked up to the Café de la Paix for coffee. I could tell Cohn wanted to talk about Brett again, but I didn't give him the chance. We talked about random things, and then I left him to head back to the office. Chapter 6. I was sitting in the Hotel Crillon at 5, waiting for Brett. When she didn't show, I pulled out the stationery and wrote a few letters. Not great letters, but at least they looked sincere because they were on crayon paper. By 5:45, with no sign of her, I headed down to the bar and ordered a Jack Rose with George, the bartender. Brett hadn't been there either, so on my way back upstairs, I got a taxi to the Café Select. Crossing the Seine, a string of barges floated empty downriver, their crews working the sweeps as they passed under the bridge. The river always looked good at that hour. Bridges in Paris have a way of making the city feel half-dream. The taxi went around the little monument to the semaphore inventor. He really looked like he was waving at us. And then up Boulevard Raspail. To me, that stretch always felt dull, like a certain piece of railroad between Fontainebleau and Montreux that just drags. You think about it too much and it seems to weigh on you, dead and unchanging until it's over. Some streets are like that. You don't mind walking them, but riding feels like stuck time. We stopped near the Rotonde, the default destination for any taxi heading to Montparnasse from the right bank. Maybe in 10 years it'll be the Dome instead, but that night it was the Rotonde. I passed its sagging outdoor tables and went into the Select. A few early patrons were at the bar. Outside, alone, was Harvey Stone, with a neat tower of empty saucers in front of him and a freshly neglected beard. "Sit down," Harvey said without ceremony. "I've been looking for you." "What's up?" "Nothing. Just looking for you." "Hey, been out at the races?" "No, not since Sunday." "Anything from home?" "Nothing. Absolutely nothing." "What's wrong?" "I'm done with them. Absolutely done." He leaned forward. "Want to know something?" "Sure." "I haven't eaten in 5 days." It hit me quick. 3 days earlier, he'd won 200 francs from me at poker dice in the New York bar, and here he was telling me he hadn't eaten for 5 days. I checked my pocket. Would 100 help? Yes. Let's go eat. Harvey dragged his saucer pile closer and rosily declined, saying when he was like this he didn't care whether he ate or not, and ordered another drink instead. So we sat. I asked Harvey about Mencken. "Yeah," he said, "he's all right." Funny things. One night at dinner we talked about Hoffenheimer. He said, "The trouble is he's a garter snapper." Harvey chuckled like that was the last word on the subject. "No one reads him much anymore," Harvey said, "except the folks who used to read that Hamilton Institute stuff." We sat in agreeable silence for a bit. Then he suggested more port, so I agreed. That's when Cohn crossed the street and plopped down at our table. Harvey grinned immediately. "That moron," he said. "Hello, Robert," I said. "Hello," Cohn responded when Harvey explained we were judging him. Harvey, never one for subtlety, asked Cohn a sudden question. "If you could do anything, what would you do?" Cohn paused. Harvey kept prodding. "Don't think too much." Finally, Cohn said, "I guess I'd rather play football again, now that I know how to handle myself." "See," Harvey said, "not a moron. A case of arrested development." They bantered back and forth, Harvey teasing, Cohn defensive. Then Harvey announced he was going up the street to eat and left us. "He always gets on my nerves," Cohn said. "I like him," I said. "Don't take it too hard." We sat on the terrace of the Select. Cohn admitted he hadn't written that afternoon. The second book just wasn't coming together. His confidence after America, the proud certainty of his first novel, had evaporated. Now he sounded worn down, unsure, and I realized then I hadn't ever really fully seen him as a person. Before Brett, he was pleasant but unremarkable. Good body, competent at tennis, solid bridge player, a bit of the eternal undergraduate about him. Nothing he said in a crowd really stood out. Externally, he dressed like a campus man might, polo shirts, easy style. And internally, he was shaped by the women who directed his life. There was a boyish goodwill about him that never quite left him. He loved winning at tennis, probably as much as any top player, yet he wasn't bitter if he lost. But once he fell for Brett, even his game faded. People beat him who'd never had a chance before, and he took it well. That was Cohn. "Come on up to the Lila," I said. "I have a date," he answered. "With who?" "Francesic is coming here at 7:15. Just then she appeared, tall and moving with energy across the street. She smiled and waved. "Hello," she said to me. "I've had the darndest time. This one didn't come home for lunch." She launched into a chronicling of mishaps. Cohn didn't tell the cook he wouldn't be home. Her own appointment didn't show. She waited at the Ritz without money to lunch. All spoken in a jaunty, rehearsed cheeriness. She settled at our table and didn't miss a beat, bright and fast and self-justifying. She mentioned Brett, calling her "that Brett one," and praised Brett for charm. Cohn didn't answer. Frances pivoted straight to what she came for. Cohn didn't want to marry her anymore. He said he hadn't lived enough. He wanted adventures. She spun it into bright logic and fierce optimism, insisting she could marry anyone, had once been pursued at Cannes, would have children, and so forth. A kaleidoscope of feeling and pride and disappointment. Her voice was cheerful on the surface, but she was hurting. She justified everything, blamed nothing, and soon had us both listening without interrupting. Then she announced she was going to England, a trip arranged by Cohn, and flushed with delight at her own news. She teased Cohn about the amount of money he'd give her, her list of friends who'd pretend to be thrilled to see her, and how she'd tell them stories about him. Cohn just sat, pale, taking it all in. Finally, I climbed up and left them there, Frances still chatting, Cohn still staying. I walked out past the cafe's windows, down a quiet street, and hailed a taxi back to my flat. Chapter 7. As I started up the stairs, the concierge tapped on the glass of her booth. When I stopped, she came out holding some letters and a telegram. "Here's your mail, and there was a lady here asking for you." "Did she leave a card?" "No, she was with a gentleman. It was the same lady who was here last night. In the end, I've decided she's very nice." "Was she with a friend of mine?" "I don't know. The gentleman had never been here before. He was very large, very, very large. She was very nice, extremely nice. Last night she was perhaps a little—" She tilted her head and rocked it gently. "I'll be completely honest, Monsieur Barnes. Last night I didn't find her very pleasant. I formed a different opinion of her then. But listen to me now. She is very nice, from a very good family. You can tell these things." "They didn't leave a message?" "Yes, they said they'd be back in an hour." "Send them up when they return." "Yes, Monsieur Barnes. And that lady is someone. Eccentric, perhaps, but someone. Very much someone." Before becoming a concierge, Madame Duzenel had run a drinks concession at the racecourse. Her heart belonged to the track, but she kept a sharp eye on social standing, and took pride in telling me which guests were well-raised, well-born, or sportsmen. Sportsmen pronounced with emphasis. The only problem was that anyone who didn't fit one of those categories was likely to be told I wasn't home. One of my friends, an emaciated-looking painter who clearly qualified as none of the above, once wrote asking if I could get him some kind of pass to get past the concierge so he could visit me in the evenings. I went upstairs wondering what Brett had done to win the concierge over so thoroughly. The telegram was from Bill Gorton saying he was arriving on the France. I set the mail down, undressed, and took a shower. I was drying off when the bell rang. I put on a robe and slippers and opened the door. It was Brett. Behind her stood the Count, holding an enormous bunch of roses. "Hello, darling," Brett said. "Aren't you letting us in?" "Come on, I was just showering." "You lucky man, bathing." "Only a shower. Sit down, Count Mippipopolous. What would you like to drink?" "I don't know if you care for flowers," the Count said, "but I took the liberty of bringing these roses." "Give them to me," Brett said. "Jake, get me some water." I filled a large earthenware jug, and Brett arranged the roses in it and placed them in the center of the table. "I say, we've had a day." "You don't remember we had a date at the Crillon?" "No, did we? I must have been blind." "You were very drunk," the Count said. "Wasn't I, though? And the Count's been an absolute saint." "You've bought yourself a lot of goodwill with the concierge." "I should hope so. I gave her 200 francs. "Don't be ridiculous." "His," she said, nodding at the Count. "It was late last night," the Count said. "I thought she deserved something." "He remembers everything," Brett said. "So do you, my dear." "Who would want to?" Brett said. "Jake, can we get a drink?" "You know where it is. I'll get dressed." While I dressed, I heard glasses, then the siphon, then their voices. I dressed slowly, sitting on the bed, feeling tired and miserable. Brett came in with a drink and sat beside me. "What's wrong, darling? Feeling rough?" She kissed my forehead lightly. "Oh, Brett, I love you so much." "Darling," she said. Then, "Do you want me to send him away?" "No, he's all right." "I'll send him away." "No." "Yes, I will." "You can't just do that." "Can't I? He's mad about me." She left the room. I lay face down on the bed. I was having a bad time. I heard them talking but didn't listen. Brett came back and sat beside me, stroking my head. "Poor darling." "What did you say to him?" "I sent him to buy champagne. He loves buying champagne." Later she said, "Do you feel better? Is your head better?" "It's better." "Stay still. He's gone clear across town." "Couldn't we just live together, Brett?" "I don't think so. I'd cheat on you with everyone. You couldn't stand it." "I stand it now." "That's different. It's the way I'm built." "Couldn't we go away somewhere quiet?" "It wouldn't help. I couldn't live quietly. Not like that." "I know." "Isn't it awful? There's no point in telling you I love you." "You know I love you." "Let's stop talking. Talking's nonsense. I'm leaving, and then Michael's coming back." "Why are you leaving?" "It's better for both of us." "When?" "As soon as I can." "Where?" "San Sebastian." "Can we go together?" No, that would be absurd after everything we've just said. We never agreed. Oh, you know we did. Don't be stubborn. Of course, I said. I'm just low. I put my shoes on. Don't look like that. How should I look? Don't be childish. I'm leaving tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yes. Let's have a drink then. The Count will be back. He's extraordinary about champagne. We went into the dining room. I poured drinks. The bell rang. The Count returned with the chauffeur carrying a basket of champagne. Kitchen, Brett said. The chauffeur followed instructions. The Count examined the bottles with satisfaction. That's excellent wine, he said. I got it through a friend in the business. You always have a friend in the business, Brett said. He owns the vineyards, thousands of acres. Veuve Clicquot? No, Mums. He's a baron. Everyone has a title, Brett said. Why don't you, Jake? Titles never help, the Count said. Mostly they cost money. Oh, they're useful sometimes, Brett said. I've never found them so. You didn't use yours properly. The Count admired Brett across the table. You don't need a title, he said. You have class. Thanks. I mean it, real class. Mummy would be thrilled. You don't joke him, the Count said, nodding at me. No, Brett said. I wouldn't joke him. See? This conversation is dull, Brett said. Let's open the champagne. The wine was extraordinary. We drank. We drank more. The Count spoke of wars, revolutions, arrow wounds. He showed the scars, clean through. Business trip, he said. We went out to dinner in the Bois, then later to Montmartre. It was loud and crowded. Brett and I danced. She was radiant and miserable by turns. Oh, darling, she said suddenly, I feel awful. You were happy a minute ago. It's gone. The feeling came over me again of having lived this moment before, knowing exactly how it would end. We left. At her hotel, she stopped me. Don't come up. All right. We kissed. She pulled away. Oh, don't. She went inside. The car took me home. I went upstairs and went to bed. Chapter 8. I didn't see Brett again until she got back from San Sebastian. One postcard came from her. It had a picture of the Concha and said, Darling, very quiet and healthy here. Love to all the boys. Brett. I didn't see Robert Cohn again either. I heard Francis had left for England. Cohn sent me a note saying he was heading out to the country for a couple of weeks. He didn't even know where yet, but he wanted me to stick to the fishing trip in Spain we'd talked about last winter. He said I could always reach him through his bankers. With Brett gone and Cohn's problems off my plate, I actually enjoyed things. I liked not having to play tennis. There was plenty of work. I went to the races a lot, had dinner with friends, and spent extra time at the office getting ahead so I could leave things to my secretary when Bill Gorton and I took off for Spain at the end of June. Bill Gorton arrived, stayed at my flat for a couple of days, and then went on to Vienna. He was cheerful and kept saying how great the States were. New York was incredible. There'd been a terrific theater season and a whole crop of promising young light heavyweights. Any one of them, he said, could grow into a real contender, put on weight, and eventually take apart Dempsey. Bill was in a fantastic mood. He'd made a lot of money on his last book and expected to make a lot more. We had a good time while he was in Paris. Then he left for Vienna. He was coming back in 3 weeks, and then we'd go to Spain, fish a little, and catch the fiesta in Pamplona. He wrote that Vienna was wonderful. Then a card from Budapest. Jake, Budapest is wonderful. Then a telegram. Back Monday. Monday evening, he showed up at my flat. I heard his taxi stop, went to the window, and called down. He waved and started up the stairs with his bags. I met him and took one. "Well," I said, "sounds like you had an amazing trip." "Amazing," he said. "Budapest is absolutely amazing." "And Vienna?" "Not so great, Jake, not so great. It seemed better than it really was." "What do you mean?" "I was getting out grasses and the siphon." "Tight, Jake. I was tight." "That's impressive. Have a drink." Bill rubbed his forehead. "Weird thing," he said. "No idea how it happened. It just happened." "How long?" 4 days, Jake. 4 days. "Where'd you go?" "No idea. I remember writing you that postcard. Remember that perfectly." "Do anything else?" "Maybe. Possibly." "Come on, tell me." "Can't. I'd tell you anything I could actually remember." "Drink and try." "Might pull something up," Bill said. "I remember a prize fight. Huge Vienna fight. There was a black fighter in it. I remember him perfectly." "Go on." "Magnificent guy. Looked like tiger flowers, only 4 times bigger. Then suddenly the crowd starts throwing things. Not me. The guy had just dropped the local boy. He raised his glove, looked like he wanted to give a speech. Noble as hell. He starts talking. Then the local white boy hits him. Then he knocks the white boy out cold. Then everybody starts throwing chairs. We drove him home in our car. He couldn't get his clothes. He wore my coat. I remember it all now. Big sporting night." "What happened after?" "We loaned him clothes and went around trying to get his money. They said he owed them money because the hall got wrecked. Wonder who translated. Was it me?" "Probably not." "You're right. Not me at all. Some other guy. Think we called him the local Harvard man, studying music." "How'd it end?" "Not great, Jake. Injustice everywhere. Promoter says the fighter promised to let the local boy stay. Says he broke the contract. You can't knock out a Vienna boy in Vienna." "My God, Mr. Gorton," the guy told me. "I didn't do nothing for 40 minutes but try to let him stay. That white boy must have ruptured himself swinging at me. I never even hit him." "Did you get any money?" "Not a cent, Jake. All we got back were his clothes. Somebody stole his watch, too. Wonderful man. Big mistake coming to Vienna. Not so good, Jake. Not so good." "What happened to him?" "Went back to Cologne. Lives there. Married. Has a family. Says he'll write me and send the money I loaned him. Great guy. Hope I gave him the right address." "You probably did." "Well, anyway, let's eat," Bill said. "Unless you want more travel stories." "Go on." "Let's eat." We went downstairs and out onto the Boulevard Saint-Michel in the warm June evening. "Where do you want to go?" "Want to eat on the island?" "Sure." We walked down the boulevard. Where Rue d'Enfer Rochereau meets it, there's a statue of 2 men in flowing robes. "I know who they are," Bill said, eyeing it. Guys who invented pharmacy. Don't try to trick me about Paris. We kept going. Here's a taxidermist, Bill said. Want to buy something? A nice stuffed dog? Come on, I said, you're smashed. Pretty nice stuffed dogs, Bill said. Really brighten up your flat. Come on. Just one stuffed dog. I can take them or leave them. But listen, Jake, just one stuffed dog. Come on. After you buy it, it'll mean everything to you. Simple exchange of value. You give them money, they give you a stuffed dog. We'll get one on the way back. All right, have it your way. The road to hell is paved with unbought stuffed dogs. Not my fault. We walked on. Why this sudden passion for dogs? Always loved dogs, always been a huge fan of stuffed animals. We stopped for a drink. You really like drinking, Bill said. You should try it sometime, Jake. You're about 144 drinks ahead of me. Shouldn't discourage you. Never be discouraged. Secret of my success. Never discouraged. Never discouraged in public. 3 more Pernods and you'll be discouraged. Not in public. If I start feeling discouraged, I go off alone. I'm like a cat. When did you see Harvey Stone? At the Crillon. Harvey was a little discouraged. Hadn't eaten in 3 days. He doesn't really eat anymore, just disappears like a cat. Kind of sad. He's fine. Great. I just wish he'd stop vanishing like a cat. Makes me nervous. What do you want to do tonight? Doesn't matter. Just don't get discouraged. Think they've got hard-boiled eggs here? If they had eggs, we wouldn't have to go all the way to the island to eat. No, I said. We're eating a real meal. Just a thought, Bill said. Ready? Come on. We started walking again. A horse cab passed. Bill watched it. See that cab? I'm going to have that horse cab stuffed for you for Christmas. I'm giving all my friends stuffed animals. I'm a nature writer. A taxi went by. Someone inside waved, then knocked for the driver to stop. The taxi backed up to the curb. Brett was in it. Beautiful woman, Bill said. She's going to kidnap us. Hello, Brett said. Hello. This is Bill Gorton, Lady Ashley. Brett smiled at Bill. I'm just back, haven't even bathed. Michael gets in tonight. Good, come eat with us and we'll all go meet him. Need to clean myself up. Oh, nonsense, come on. I have to bathe. He doesn't arrive until 9. Have a drink first, then. Could do that. For once you're not talking nonsense. We got in the taxi. Stop at the nearest bistro, I told the driver. We might as well go to the closerie, Brett said. I can't drink these awful brandies. Closerie des Lilas. Brett turned to Bill. Have you been in this diseased city long? Just got in today from Budapest. How was Budapest? Wonderful. Budapest was wonderful. Ask him about Vienna. Vienna, Bill said, is a strange city. Very much like Paris, Brett said, smiling at him, her eyes crinkling. Exactly, Bill said. Very much like Paris at this exact moment. You're off to a good start. Out on the Lilas terrace, Brett ordered a whiskey and soda. I had one too. Bill ordered another Pernod. How are you, Jake? Great, I said. I've had a good time. Brett looked at me. I was an idiot to leave, she said. You're an idiot to leave Paris. Did you have a good time? Oh, fine, interesting, not exactly entertaining. See anyone? Hardly anyone. I didn't go out. Didn't you swim? No, didn't do anything. Sounds like Vienna, Bill said. Brett looked at him and smiled again. So that's Vienna. Everything in Vienna is like that. Brett smiled at him again. You've got a good friend, Jake. He's fine, I said. He's a taxidermist. That was another country, Bill said, and the animals were already dead. One more, Brett said, then I have to run. Send the waiter for a taxi. There's a line outside. Good. We finished, got Brett into her taxi. Be at the Select around 10. Make him come. Michael will be there. We'll be there, Bill said. The taxi pulled away and Brett waved. Hell of a woman, Bill said. She's damn nice. Who's Michael? The man she's going to marry. Well, well, Bill said. That's always the stage I meet people at. What should I send them, 2 stuffed racehorses? We should eat. Is she really a lady what's-her-name? Oh, yes, in the book and everything. Well, well. We ate dinner at Madame Lecomte's restaurant on the far side of the Ile Saint-Louis. It was packed with Americans, and we had to stand around waiting for a table. Someone had put it on the American Women's Club list as a quaint restaurant, still untouched by Americans. So naturally, we waited 45 minutes. Bill had eaten there in 1918, right after the armistice, and Madame Lecomte made a big fuss over him. Doesn't get us a table any faster, Bill said, but she's grand. We ate well. Roast chicken, fresh green beans, mashed potatoes, salad, and apple pie with cheese. You've got the world here now, Bill said to Madame Lecomte. She lifted her hand. Oh, my God. You'll be rich. I hope so. After coffee and a fine, we got the bill, chalked on a slate like always, which was probably one of the quaint features, paid it, shook hands, and left. You never come any more, Monsieur Barnes, Madame Lecomte said. Too many compatriots. Come at lunch. It's not crowded. Good. I'll come soon. We walked under the riverside trees on the Quai d'Orléans side of the island. Across the water were the broken walls of old houses being torn down. They're cutting a street through, I said. They would, Bill said. We circled the island. The river was dark. A bateau mouche went by, bright with lights, moving fast and quiet, and disappeared under a bridge. Downriver, Notre Dame sat heavy against the night sky. We crossed to the left bank on the wooden footbridge from Quai de Béthune and stopped to look downriver at Notre Dame. From the bridge, the island was dark. The houses rose against the sky. The trees were just shadows. It's pretty great, Bill said. God, I love being back. We leaned on the wooden rail and looked upriver at the lights on the big bridges. The water below was smooth and black and made no sound against the pilings. A man and a woman passed, arms around each other. We crossed and walked up Rue du Cardinal Lemoine. It was steep, and we went all the way up to Place Contrescarpe. Arc lights shone through the leaves. Under the trees, an S-bus waited to start. Music spilled out of the Nègre Joyeux. Through the window of the Café aux Amateurs, I saw the long zinc bar. Outside, working people drank on the terrace. In the open kitchen, a girl fried potato chips in oil. There was an iron pot of stew. She ladled some onto a plate for an old man holding a bottle of red wine. Want a drink? I asked. No, Bill said. I don't need it. We turned right from the square onto smooth, narrow streets lined with high old houses. Some leaned out over the street. Others were set back. We came to Rue du Pot de Fer, followed it until it hit the strict north-south of Rue Saint-Jacques, then walked south past the Val de Grace behind its courtyard and iron fence, down to Boulevard du Port Royal. "What do you want to do?" I asked. "Go up to the cafe and see Brett and Mike?" "Why not?" We walked along Port Royal as it turned into Montparnasse, past the Lilas, Lavines, and the little cafes, Damoise, crossed to the Rotonde, past its lights and tables, and went to the Select. Michael came toward us from the tables. He looked tan and healthy. "Hello, Jake," he said. "Hello, hello. How are you, old boy?" "You look fit, Mike." "Oh, I am. Really fit. Done nothing but walk. Walk all day. 1 drink a day with my mother at tea." Bill had gone into the bar. He was talking to Brett, who sat on a high stool with her legs crossed. She wasn't wearing stockings. "Good to see you, Jake," Michael said. "I'm a bit tight, you know. Amazing, isn't it? Did you notice my nose?" There was dried blood on the bridge of it. "An old lady's bags did that," Mike said. "I reached up to help her and they fell on me." Brett gestured at him with her cigarette holder, the corners of her eyes smiling. "An old lady," Mike said. "Her bags fell on me. Come see Brett. Honestly, she's something." "You are a stunning woman, Brett. Where'd you get that hat?" "Some chap bought it. Don't you like it?" "It's a dreadful hat. Get a proper hat." "Oh, we've got so much money now," Brett said. "Jake, have you met Bill? You're such a perfect host." She turned to Mike. "This is Bill Gorton. This drunk is Mike Campbell. Mr. Campbell is an undischarged bankrupt." "Aren't I, though?" Mike said. "Met my ex-partner yesterday in London, the chap who ruined me." "What did he say?" "Bought me a drink. Figured I might as well take it." "Brett, you really are something. Don't you think she's beautiful?" "Beautiful? With this nose?" "It's a great nose. Point it at me. Isn't she incredible?" "Couldn't we have kept the man in Scotland?" "Brett, let's turn in early." "Don't be indecent, Michael. There are ladies at this bar." "Isn't she incredible? Don't you think so, Jake?" "There's a fight tonight," Bill said. "Want to go?" "A fight," Mike said. "Who's fighting?" "Ledoux and someone." "Ledoux is very good," Mike said. "I'd like to see it, actually." He tried to pull himself together. "But I can't. I had a date with this thing here. Brett, do get a new hat." Brett pulled the felt hat down over one eye and smiled from under it. "You two go to the fight. I have to take Mr. Campbell home in a minute." "I'm not tight," Mike said. "Maybe a little. Brett, you really are something." We said good night. "I'm sorry I can't go," Mike said. Brett laughed. I looked back from the door. Mike had one hand on the bar and leaned toward Brett, talking. Brett looked at him coolly, but her eyes were smiling. "Outside on the pavement," I said. "Do you want to go to the fight?" "Sure," Bill said, "as long as we don't have to walk." "Mike was pretty worked up about his girlfriend," I said in the taxi. "Well," Bill said, "you can't exactly blame him." Chapter 9. The Ledoux Kid Francis fight was the night of June 20th. It was a good fight. The next morning I got a letter from Robert Cohn, sent from Andé. He said he was having a quiet stretch, swimming, playing a little golf, and a lot of bridge. Andé had a great beach, but he was eager to get the fishing trip started. When would I be down? If I picked up a double-tapered line for him, he'd pay me back when I arrived. That same morning I wrote him from the office. Bill and I would leave Paris on the 25th, unless I wired otherwise, and we'd meet him in Bayonne. From there we could take a bus over the mountains to Pamplona. That evening around 7, I stopped by the Select to see Michael and Brett. They weren't there, so I went to the Dingo. They were inside, sitting at the bar. "Hello, darling." Brett reached out her hand. "Hello, Jake," Mike said. "I hear I was drunk last night." "You sure were," Brett said. "Absolutely shameless." "Listen," Mike said, "when are you heading to Spain? Would you mind if we came along with you?" "That would be great." "You really wouldn't mind?" "I've been to Pamplona before. Brett's dying to go." "You're sure we won't be a complete nuisance?" "Don't be an idiot. I'm a bit drunk, you know. I wouldn't ask like this if I weren't. You're sure you don't mind?" "Oh, shut up, Michael," Brett said. "How's he supposed to say yes or no when you're begging like that?" "I'll ask him later." "But you don't mind, do you?" "Don't ask again unless you want me to get annoyed. Bill and I leave the morning of the 25th. "By the way, where's Bill?" Brett asked. "Out at Chantilly having dinner with some people. He's a good chap." "Top notch," Mike said. "Absolutely." "You don't even remember him," Brett said. "I do, perfectly. Look, Jake, we'll come down the night of the 25th. Brett can't do mornings." "Obviously not." "If our money comes through, and if you're sure you don't mind—" "It'll come through. I'll make sure of it. Tell me what fishing gear to order." 2 or 3 rods with reels, lines, and some flies." "I'm not fishing," Brett said. "Then get 2 rods," I said, "and Bill won't have to buy one." "Right," Mike said. "I'll wire the shop." "Won't it be brilliant?" Brett said. "Spain! We'll have fun." "The 25th, what day is that?" "Saturday." "We'll have to get organized." "I say," Mike said, "I'm going to the barber." "I need a bath," Brett said. "Walk me up to the hotel, Jake. Be decent." "We've got the sweetest hotel," Mike said. "I think it's a brothel." "We left our bags at the Dingo when we arrived," Brett said, "and the hotel asked if we wanted a room just for the afternoon. They seemed thrilled we were staying the whole night." "I'm telling you it's a brothel," Mike said, "and I'd know." "Oh, shut up and go get your hair cut." Mike went out. Brett and I stayed at the bar. "Another?" "Might as well." "I needed that," Brett said. We walked up Rue de l'Ombre. "I haven't seen you since I got back," Brett said. "No." "How are you, Jake?" "Fine." Brett looked at me. "Listen, Robert Cohn is going on this trip, right?" "Yes, why?" "Don't you think it'll be rough on him?" "Why would it be?" "Who do you think I went down to San Sebastian with?" "Congratulations," I said. We kept walking. "Why did you say that?" "I don't know. What do you want me to say?" We turned a corner. "He actually behaved pretty well," she said, "but he gets a bit dull." "Does he?" "I thought it would be good for him. You should take up charity work." "Don't be nasty." "I won't." "You really didn't know?" "No," I said. "I guess I didn't think about it." "Do you think it'll be too rough on him?" "That's on him," I said. "Tell him you're coming. He can always bail." "I'll write him and give him a chance to back out." I didn't see Brett again until the night of June 24th. "Did you hear from Cohn?" "Oh, yes, he's excited." My God. I thought it was a little odd, too. He says he can't wait to see me. Does he think you're coming alone? No. I told him we were all coming, Michael and everyone. He's incredible. Isn't he? They expected their money the next day. We made plans to meet in Pamplona. They'd go straight to San Sebastian, then take the train from there. We'd all meet at the Montoya in Pamplona. If they didn't show up by Monday at the latest, we'd head on to Burguete and the mountains to start fishing. There was a bus to Burguete. I wrote out an itinerary so they could follow us. Bill and I took the morning train from the Gare d'Orsay. The day was perfect, not too hot, and the countryside looked great right away. We went to the dining car for breakfast. When we left, I asked the conductor for seats in the first lunch service. Nothing until the 5th. What do you mean? That train usually only had 2 lunch seatings, and there were always plenty of places. They're all reserved, the dining car conductor said. There'll be a 5th service at 3:30. This is a problem, I told Bill. Give him 10 francs. I handed it over. We want to eat in the first service. The conductor pocketed the money. Thank you, he said. I suggest you gentlemen buy sandwiches. The first 4 services were reserved at the company office. You'll go far, my friend, Bill said in English. If I'd given you 5 francs, you'd probably have told us to jump off the train. Comment? Go to hell, Bill said. Get us sandwiches and a bottle of wine. Tell him, Jake. And send it up to the next car, I added, describing where we were. In our compartment was a man, his wife, and their young son. You're Americans, aren't you? The man asked. Having a nice trip? Wonderful, Bill said. That's what you should do, travel while you're young. Mother and I always wanted to come over, but we had to wait. You could have come 10 years ago if you wanted, the wife said. You always said, see America first. Well, I'll say we've seen a lot, one way and another. There are loads of Americans on this train, the husband said. 7 cars from Dayton, Ohio. They've been on pilgrimage to Rome, and now they're going down to Biarritz and Lourdes. So that's who they are, Bill said. Pilgrims. Goddamn Puritans. Where are you boys from? The man asked. Kansas City, I said. He's from Chicago. You going to Biarritz? No, we're going fishing in Spain. Never cared for fishing, the man said. Plenty of folks do where I'm from. Montana's got some of the best fishing anywhere. I've gone out with the boys, but it never did much for me. You barely fished on those trips, his wife said. He winked at us. You know how women are. If there's a jug or a case of beer involved, they act like it's the end of civilization. That's how men are, his wife said to us, smoothing her lap. I voted against prohibition to please him, and because I like having beer in the house. And then he talks like that. It's a wonder anyone marries them. By the way, Bill said, did you know that whole pilgrim crowd has locked up the dining car until 3:30? How could they do that? Try getting seats. Well, the woman said, looks like we'd better go back and get a second breakfast. They stood and left for the dining car. A while later, a steward announced the first service, and the pilgrims, with their priests, started filing down the corridor. Our Montana family didn't come back. A waiter passed with our sandwiches and a bottle of Chablis, and we waved him in. You're going to earn it today, I said. He nodded. They start at 10:30. When do we eat? He snorted. When do I eat? He left 2 glasses. We paid and tipped him. I'll take the plates, he said, or just bring them back. We ate, drank the Chablis, and watched the countryside roll by. The grain was just starting to ripen. The fields were full of poppies. The pasture land was bright green. There were good trees, and sometimes big rivers and chateaux tucked into them. At Tours, we got off and bought another bottle of wine. When we returned, the man from Montana, his wife, and their son Hubert were back in the compartment, looking comfortable. "Is the swimming good in Biarritz?" Hubert asked. "He's going mad waiting to get in the water," his mother said. "Travel's hard on kids." "The swimming's good," I said, "but rough water can be dangerous." "Did you get a meal?" Bill asked. "We sure did. We sat down right when they started coming in, and I guess they assumed we were part of the group. A waiter said something to us in French, and then they sent 3 of them back. They took us for big shots," the man said. "Shows you the power of the Catholic Church. Shame you boys aren't Catholic. You'd get fed." "I am," I said. "That's why I'm irritated." Finally, at 4:15, we got lunch. Bill was in a mood by then. He stopped a priest heading back with one of the streams of pilgrims. "When do us Protestants get to eat, Father?" "I don't know anything about it. Don't you have tickets?" "It's enough to make a man join the clan," Bill said. The priest looked back at him. In the dining car, the waiters served the 5th identical table d'hôte meal in a row. Our waiter was drenched with sweat. His white jacket had gone dark under the arms. He must drink a lot of wine, or wear purple undershirts. "Let's ask him." "No," Bill said. "He's too exhausted." The train stopped for half an hour at Bordeaux, and we got out for a short walk. No time to reach the town. After that, we rolled through the Landes and watched the sun go down. Wide fire breaks cut through the pines like long avenues, with wooded hills far off. Around 7:30 we had dinner and watched the sandy pine country through the open diner window. Heather everywhere, occasional clearings with houses, and sometimes a sawmill. Then it got dark, and you could feel the heat and sand outside the window. Around 9, we arrived in Bayonne. The Montana man, his wife, and Hubert shook our hands. They were continuing to La Négresse to change. For Biarritz. "Good luck," he said. "Be careful at those bullfights." "Maybe we'll see you in Biarritz," Hubert said. We got off with our bags and rod cases, moved through the dark station, and out into the lights and the line of cabs and hotel buses. Robert Cohn was there among the hotel runners. He didn't see us at first. Then he stepped forward. "Hello, Jake. Good trip?" "Great," I said. "This is Bill Gorton." "How do you do?" "Come on," Robert said. "I've got a cab. We'll go to my hotel. It's fine. Nice place." He was a little nearsighted. I'd never really noticed it. He squinted at Bill, trying to place him. He was shy, too. We got into the cab. The driver stacked the bags beside him, climbed up, snapped the whip, and we rattled over the dark bridge into town. "I'm really glad to meet you," Robert told Bill. "Jake's told me so much about you, and I've read your books. Jake, did you get my fishing line?" The cab stopped at the hotel. We went in. It was a good place. The desk staff were cheerful, and each of us got a decent small room. Chapter 10. That morning the sky was bright, and the city workers were spraying down the streets. We had breakfast together at a cafe. Bayonne is a good town, like a very clean Spanish town, and it sits on a big river. Even that early, it was already scorching on the bridge over the water. We crossed it and walked around the town for a bit. I wasn't convinced Mike's fishing rods would actually arrive from Scotland in time, so we went hunting for a tackle shop. Eventually we found one upstairs over a dry goods store and bought Bill a decent rod at a good price, plus 2 landing nets. The guy who sold the gear wasn't there, so we had to wait until he came back. After that, we went back out and looked at the cathedral. Cohn said something about it being a great example of some architectural style. What exactly, I've forgotten. It was a nice cathedral, cool and dim, like Spanish churches. Then we walked past the old fort and out to the local tourist office, where the bus was supposed to leave from. They told us the bus route didn't start running until July 1st. So we asked what a car should cost to Pamplona, then hired one from a big garage near the municipal theater for 400 francs. The car was coming to the hotel in 40 minutes, so we sat at the cafe on the square where we'd had breakfast and ordered beers. It was hot, but the town still had that clean, cool, early morning smell, and it felt good sitting there. A breeze picked up, and you could tell it was coming off the sea. Pigeons wandered around the square. The buildings were that sun-baked yellow. I didn't want to move. But we had to go back, pack, and pay. We paid for the beers, matched for it, and I think Cohn paid, then went up to the hotel. Bill and I owed 16 francs each, plus 10% for service. We sent the bags downstairs and waited for Cohn. While we were waiting, I saw a cockroach on the parquet floor that had to be 3 inches long. I pointed it out to Bill and crushed it with my shoe. We decided it must have wandered in from the garden. The hotel was otherwise absurdly clean. Cohn finally came down and we went out to the car. It was a big enclosed car, and the driver wore a white coat with blue collar and cuffs. We had him lower the back, loaded the bags, and headed up the street and out of town. We passed some beautiful gardens and got one last look back at Bayonne. Then we were into green, rolling country, the road climbing steadily. We passed lots of Basques walking with oxen or cattle pulling carts, and neat farmhouses with low roofs, all whitewashed. In the Basque country, everything looks rich and green, and the villages look clean and comfortable. Every village had a pelota court, and in some of them kids were playing in the heat. On church walls there were signs saying you weren't allowed to play pelota against them. The village houses had red tile roofs. Then the road turned and started climbing hard. We hugged the side of a hill, with a valley below and more hills stretching back toward where the sea had to be. Too far away to see, but you could feel where it was. We crossed into Spain. There was a little stream and a bridge. On the Spanish side were carabineers wearing shiny, patent leather Bonaparte-style hats and carrying short rifles on their backs. On the French side were fat officials in kepis with mustaches. They opened one bag, took our passports inside, and checked them. There was a general store and an inn on each side of the border. The driver had to fill out papers about the car, so we got out and walked over to the stream to see if there were any trout. Bill tried speaking Spanish to one of the guards, but it didn't go well. Cohn pointed into the water and asked if there were trout, and the guard said yes, but not many. I asked the guard if he ever fished. He said no. He wasn't interested. Then an old man came striding up to the bridge, long, sunburned hair and beard, wearing clothes that looked like burlap. He carried a long staff and had a small goat slung across his back, tied by all 4 legs with its head hanging down. The guard waved him back with his sword. The old man turned without a word and started back up the pale road into Spain. "What's his problem?" I asked. "He doesn't have a passport." I offered the guard a cigarette. He took it and thanked me. "What's the old man going to do?" I asked. The guard spit into the dust. "Oh, he'll just wade across the stream." "Do you get much smuggling?" I asked. "Oh," he said, "they get through." The driver came out, folded the papers, and tucked them into his inside pocket. We got back in and headed up the white, dusty road into Spain. For a while, the landscape looked similar. Then, still climbing, we crested a high pass, the road switching back and forth, and suddenly it was really Spain. Long brown mountains, a few pines, and far-off beech forests on some slopes. The road ran along the top of the pass, then dropped. The driver had to honk and slow down to avoid two donkeys asleep right in the road. We descended out of the mountains through an oak forest where white cattle grazed between the trees. Below were grassy plains and clear streams. Then we crossed another stream, passed through a gloomy little village, and started climbing again. We went up and up, crossed another high pass, and along it we could see a new range of mountains to the south, brown, baked, and carved into strange shapes. Later we came out of the mountains into a softer stretch, trees along the road, a stream, ripe grain fields. The road ran straight and bright white, then rose slightly, and off to the left was a hill with an old castle. Buildings clustered around it, and the grain field ran right up to the walls, shifting in the wind. I was riding up front with the driver and turned around. Cohn was asleep. Bill looked at the view and nodded. Then we crossed a wide plain. Off to the right, a big river shone in the sun between a line of trees. Far ahead you could see the Pamplona Plateau lifting out of the flat land, with the city walls, the big brown cathedral, and the broken skyline of other churches. Behind the plateau were mountains, and wherever you looked, more mountains. The road stretched out white across the plain toward Pamplona. We came into town from the far side of the plateau, the road angling up steeply and dusty, shade trees on both sides, then leveling through the newer part they were building outside the old walls. We passed the bull ring, high, white, and stark in the sunlight, then rolled into the main square from a side street and stopped in front of the Hotel Montoya. The driver helped unload the bags. Kids gathered around the car. The square was hot. The trees were bright green, and the flags hung from their poles. It felt good getting out of the sun and into the shade under the arcade that runs around the whole square. Montoya was happy to see us. He shook hands, gave us good rooms overlooking the square, and we washed up and went downstairs for lunch. The driver ate too. Then we paid him, and he headed back to Bayonne. The Montoya has two dining rooms. One is upstairs on the second floor, with windows looking out onto the square. The other is downstairs, below the square's level, with a door onto the back street where the bulls run through early in the morning on their way to the ring. The downstairs dining room is always cool, and we had a very good lunch. Your first meal in Spain is always a shock. Appetizers, an egg course, 2 meat courses, vegetables, salad, dessert, and fruit. You have to drink plenty of wine just to get it down. Cohn tried to refuse the second meat course, but we wouldn't translate for him, so the waitress brought him a replacement. Cold meats, I think. Cohn had been edgy ever since Bayonne. He didn't know whether Bill and I knew about San Sebastian with Brett, and it made him awkward. "Well," I said, "Brett and Mike should get in tonight." "I'm not sure they'll come," Cohn said. "Why wouldn't they?" Bill said. "Of course they'll come." "They're always late," I said. "I really don't think they're coming," Cohn said, like he had insider information. It irritated both of us. "I'll bet you 50 pesetas they're here tonight," Bill said. When Bill gets irritated, he bets, and he usually bets stupidly. "I'll take it," Cohn said. "Jake, you heard that. 50 pesetas." I'll remember it myself, Bill said. I could tell Bill was hot, so I tried to cool it down. They'll come, I said. Maybe just not tonight. Want to call it off? Cohn asked. No, why would I? Bill said. Make it 100 if you want. All right, Cohn said. I'll take that. That's enough, I said, or you'll have to write another book and cut me in. I'm satisfied, Cohn said, smiling. You'll probably win it back at bridge anyway. You don't have it yet, Bill said. We went out under the arcade toward Café Iruña for coffee. Cohn said he was going to get shaved. Bill leaned toward me. Do I have any chance on that bet? You've got a terrible chance, I said. They're never on time. And if their money doesn't come through, they definitely won't get here tonight. I regretted it the second I said it, Bill said, but I had to call him out. He's okay, I guess, but where does he get this inside attitude? Mike and Brett already arranged the plan with us. I saw Cohn coming across the square. Here he comes. Bill said, fine. Just hope he doesn't get superior and Jewish. The barber shop's closed, Cohn said. Doesn't open until 4. We had coffee at the Iruña, sitting in comfortable wicker chairs, cool under the arcade, looking out across the square. After a while, Bill went off to write letters, and Cohn tried the barber shop again. Still closed. So he went back to the hotel for a bath, and I sat out front for a while and then walked around town. It was brutally hot, but I stayed on the shady side and enjoyed being back. I went through the market. I stopped at the Ayuntamiento and found the older man who buys my bullfight ticket subscriptions every year. He'd received the money I'd sent from Paris and renewed everything, so that was handled. He was the town archivist, with the archives lining the walls of his office. None of that matters to the story. When I left, he stayed behind among the archives, and I shut both doors, one green baize door and one heavy wooden door. Outside, the building's porter stopped me to brush off my coat. You've been in a motor car, he said. The back of my collar and shoulders were gray with dust. From Bayonne, I said. Well, well, he said, I could tell by the dust. I gave him 2 copper coins. At the end of the street, I saw the cathedral and walked up to it. The first time I ever saw it, I thought the front was ugly, but I liked it now. Inside, it was cool and dark. The pillars rose high. People were praying. It smelled of incense. There were some huge, beautiful windows. I knelt and started praying for everyone I could think of: Brett, Mike, Bill, Cohn, myself. Then the bullfighters, the ones I liked individually, the rest all together. Then I prayed for myself again. And while I was doing that, I started getting sleepy. So I prayed the bullfights would be good, the fiesta would be great, and we'd get good fishing. I tried to think what else to pray for and decided I'd like more money. So I prayed I'd make a lot of money. And then I immediately started thinking about how I'd make it. That made me think of the Count and where he might be, and how I hadn't seen him since Montmartre, and a funny thing Brett had said about him. All the while I was kneeling with my forehead against the wood, like I was praying, I felt a little ashamed, like I was a bad Catholic. But I also knew there wasn't much I could do about it, maybe not ever. Still, it was a great religion. I wished I felt more religious. Maybe next time. Then I was back outside on the cathedral steps in the hard heat, and the thumb and first 2 fingers of my right hand were still damp, drying in the sun. The light was hot and sharp. I crossed over by some buildings and walked back to the hotel through side streets. That night at dinner, we found Cohn had taken a bath, gotten shaved, had a haircut and shampoo, and had something put in his hair to keep it down. He was nervous, and I didn't try to help. The train from San Sebastian was due at 9. If Brett and Mike were coming, they'd be on it. At 20 minutes to 9, we weren't even halfway through dinner. Cohn got up and said he was going to the station. I said I'd go with him, partly just to needle him. Bill said he'd be damned if he was leaving dinner. I told him we'd be right back. We walked to the station. I was enjoying how nervous Cohn was. I hoped Brett would actually be on the train. At the station, the train was late. We sat on a baggage cart outside in the dark and waited. I'd never seen a civilian as nervous or as eager as Robert Cohn. I was enjoying it. It was a lousy thing to enjoy, but I felt lousy. Cohn had a talent for bringing out the worst in people. Finally, we heard the whistle far off on the other side of the plateau. Then the headlight came up the hill. We went inside and stood behind the gates with the crowd. The train pulled in, stopped, and everyone started streaming out. They weren't there. We waited until the crowd thinned and people had either gotten into buses or cabs or walked off into the dark with friends. I knew they wouldn't come, Robert said as we headed back to the hotel. I thought they might, I said. Bill was eating fruit when we got back, finishing a bottle of wine. Didn't come, huh? He said. No. Mind if I pay you that 100 pesetas in the morning, Cohn? Bill asked. I haven't changed money yet. Oh, forget it, Cohn said. Let's bet on something else. Can you bet on bullfights? You could, Bill said, but you don't need to. It'd be like betting on the war, I said. You don't need a financial stake. I'm really curious to see them, Robert said. Montoya came over to our table holding a telegram. For you. He handed it to me. It said, "Stopped night, San Sebastian." It's from them, I said, and put it in my pocket. Normally, I would have handed it to Cohn. They stayed over in San Sebastian, I said. They send their regards. Why did I do that? I don't know. Of course I know. I was jealous, blind, unforgiving jealous of what had happened between Brett and Cohn. Acting like it was normal didn't change it. I hated him. I don't think I really hated him until that little flash of superiority at lunch, and then all the grooming and posing. So I kept the telegram. It was addressed to me, anyway. Well, I said, we should take the noon bus to Brigitte. If they get in tomorrow night, they can follow us. There were only 2 trains up from San Sebastian, an early one and the one we'd just met. That sounds good, Cohn said. The sooner we're on the river, the better, Bill said. We hung around the Aruña, had coffee, then walked out toward the bull ring and across the field under the trees at the cliff edge and looked down at the river in the dark. Then I turned in early. Bill and Cohn stayed out late at the cafe. I was asleep when they came back. In the morning, I bought 3 bus tickets to Brigitte. The bus left at 2, nothing earlier. I was at the Aruña reading the papers when I saw Cohn crossing the square. He sat down. This is a comfortable cafe, he said. Sleep well, Jake? Like a rock. I didn't sleep great, he said. Bill and I stayed out late, too. Where? Here. And after they closed, we went to that other cafe. The old guy there speaks German and English. The Café Suizo. That's it. I think it's better than this place. Not in daytime, I said. Too hot. By the way, I bought the bus tickets. I'm not going up today, Cohn said. You and Bill go ahead. I already bought yours. Give it to me. I'll get the refund. It's 5 pesetas. He handed me a 5 peseta coin. I should stay, he said. I'm worried there's been some misunderstanding. Why? I said. If they start partying in San Sebastian, they might not show up here for days. That's the problem, he said. I'm afraid they expected to meet me at San Sebastian. That's why they stopped. What makes you think that? I wrote Brett suggesting it. I almost said, then why the hell didn't you stay there and meet them? But I stopped. I assumed the thought would occur to him on its own. I don't think it ever did. He was being confidential now, and he enjoyed that I knew there was something between him and Brett. Well, Bill and I will go up right after lunch, I said. I wish I could go, he said. We've been looking forward to fishing all winter. He got sentimental. But I should stay. As soon as they arrive, I'll bring them right up. Let's find Bill. I want to go to the barber shop. See you at lunch. I found Bill upstairs shaving. Oh, he told me all about it last night, Bill said. He's a real little confessional booth. Said he had a date with Brett in San Sebastian. The lying bastard. Oh, don't get mad, Bill said. Not at this stage of the trip. How did you ever meet this guy anyway? Don't rub it in. Bill, half-shaved, kept talking into the mirror while he lathered up. Didn't you send him with a letter to me in New York last winter? Thank God I'm a traveling man. Don't you have any more Jewish friends you can drag along? You've got your own, I said. Oh, sure, I've got some beauties, but nobody like Robert Cohn. The worst part is he's nice, too. I like him, and he's still awful. He can be very nice, I said. I know, Bill said. That's what makes it a disaster. I laughed. Go ahead and laugh, Bill said. You weren't stuck with him last night until 2 a.m. Was he bad? Terrible. So what's the deal with him and Brett? Did she actually? He tipped his chin up, pulled it side to side. Yeah, I said. She went down to San Sebastian with him. What a stupid thing to do. Why would she do that? She wanted out of town, and she can't go anywhere alone. She said she thought it would be good for him. What idiotic things people do. Why didn't she go with her own crowd? Or you? He slid past that. Or me? Why not me? He inspected his face in the mirror, then dabbed big blobs of lather on his cheekbones. It's an honest face, he said. A face any woman would be safe with. She'd never seen it, I said. She should. Every woman should. They should put this face on every screen in the country. Every bride should be handed a copy of this face as she leaves the altar. Mothers should warn their daughters about this face. My son, he pointed the razor at me, go west with this face and grow up with the country. He rinsed, slapped on alcohol, and stared again, pulling down his upper lip. My God, he said, isn't it a horrible face? He looked again. And as for Robert Cohn, Bill said, he makes me sick. He can go to hell. And I'm glad he's staying here so we don't have to fish with him. You're damn right, I said. We're going trout fishing, Bill said. Trout fishing in the Irati. We're getting properly drunk at lunch on the local wine. Then we're taking a great bus ride. Come on, I said. Let's go to the Arunia and start. For the remaining chapters of The Sun Also Rises, like this video and subscribe to Translated Works.